Hey guys, welcome back to Shep Talk and welcome back to another Shep Talk movie review. But before we get into the review, I just want to go over a couple of admin notes. First one up, if you haven't noticed, I have separated my gaming channel and my movie geek kind of channel. So Darth Shep Gaming is the name of the channel I currently have for my games. That link for everything will be down in the description down below. So if you're looking for my games or my VODs from my stream, go over to Darth Shep Gaming. Shep Talk will still be your movie reviews, your convention reviews, and everything else, my unboxings. And yeah, like I mentioned, everything will be down in the description down below. But I also post up on all my social medias, which are also in the description down below. So make sure you go down there and check. And make sure you follow me on them, because I post, or I try to post daily, and I try to post up what I'm going to go screen, or what I'm going to go view, what I'm going to go do, XYZ, so that way you guys can keep up to date on what I'm doing, and that way you know the latest information. But guys, let's get back to my review of Fast 10. Fast 10 is directed by Louis Leterrier. You know me, guys, don't come here for my pronunciation. Was written by Dan Mazu, Justin Lin, which is great to see him have still some kind of involvement in these movies, and Gary Scott Thompson. Now, Fast 10 stars Vin Diesel, Jordana Brewster, Tyrese Gibson, Ludacris, Michelle Rodriguez, Jason Statham, Jason Momoa, and I could spend all day listing every single person that's in the family or in this movie, but there is a ton. Now, the runtime for Fast 10, and this is where, again, this is the second week in the road that IMDb has lied to me. IMDb says the runtime is 2 hours and 21 minutes. I started the movie at 5:22, got out about 5:30 or so. I would give it 2 hours and, or got out at 7:30. So a little over 2 hours, not a 2 hour and 21 minute movie. So I don't know what's going on there. But yeah, so I guess semantics. It's a little bit over 2 hours. But let's get to the review of Fast 10. So a quick synopsis. Dante Reyes, his father was murdered by Dom and his people, and so really Reyes is out to get revenge or cause suffering on Dominic Toretto. Here we are with the 10th installment of the Fast and Furious franchise. Do we need it? Do we want it? After Fast and Furious 8 and 9, I think a lot of people are checking out on this series, and I think Fast and Furious 10 realizes that they need to kind of course correct. One of the themes here, and we know it, right? Dominic Toretto is all about family. He gives so many people second chances, especially if he thinks or believes that there's actual good in them or that they can become good people. So this movie kind of talks about that, kind of does Dominic Toretto's ideal of family make him easy to be manipulated? And that is kind of what is explored in this movie. It is kind of one of the things that the big bad uses as his tool of controlling Dominic Toretto and what he's going to do and understand where he is coming from. Now, we all know, we've seen it in the trailer, we saw the casting rumors, that Jason Momoa is the big bad for this movie. I think what we all expect before going into this movie, before this movie was released, that would get Jason Momoa as a big dude, big muscly dude, and he's going to go off against Vin Diesel as another big muscly dude. And that is still the case here. But Jason Momoa takes it in such another direction that it is kind of a scene stealer. Whenever Jason Momoa is on screen, he pretty much takes over, and I love it, and I could see more of him. I kind of related Jason Momoa's character or characteristics of his character as kind of a Joker-esque style from the DCU. And one of the things we've come to associate with the Fast and Furious movies is the music, is the soundtrack. And I'm going to say once again, I don't think this soundtrack disappoints. It definitely immerses you in this world. When something as bad has happened, there is like a theme that they're going to use. When they're at a party, there's party music. They always stay fresh and up to date on the music scene and incorporate that into the soundtrack. And speaking of that, we get another street race. We finally get a street race. I think for the longest time we've realized, or we the fans that have been here since day one with the Fast and Furious franchise came because we were getting a peek into that secret or very shadowy life of street racing, especially back in the early 2000s. That all being said, we do get a street race, but it's not fully what we want or expect. But it was still good to actually see them remembering their roots and trying to incorporate that back into the movie. And one of the things we could always count on from Fast and Furious 1 to now is that whenever it is possible, especially with the car scenes, if they can do practical effects, they are going to do practical effects, especially with the cars. And that is still carried over to today. You can definitely tell the difference between when a scene is practical and when, a scene is going off its rockers CGI kind of thing. That's not to say that there is no, physics defying CGI action scenes in this movie. Of course there are, but a lot of the car stuff is practical. You can definitely tell what is practical in this movie and what isn't. And yes, I'm saying there are, some of those physics defying scenes in this movie, but I think Fast 10 realized from Fast 8 and Fast 9 and all the grumbling people heard or said on the internet and everywhere that they were kind of getting tired of that this franchise was going further afield from what people wanted to. We could buy that Dominic Toretto and his family came from street racing and thieves to becoming, world-saving kind of agents, secret agents and stuff like that. But throw in some of the crazy stunts that they do, the submarine, the bridge, etc., it kind of started taking us out of what we were enjoying about these movies. And Fast 10 does kind of, I would say, draw back on them. Yes, we have the Rome scene. You guys have seen it with the bomb rolling through Rome. That is towards the beginning, and there's only like a couple more scenes where, at least in my opinion, where we get those kind of moments where it's like, okay, this is what we're doing, huh? Okay, Rocket League with a bomb, gotcha. But I think Fast 10 is trying to course correct a little bit and bring it back more into that core family element, and not go off the rockers. But is it too late for them to course correct? I guess we'll see. One of my friends gave me this idea, because we all know how big family is in these movies and how Vin Diesel keeps repeating family and family over again. So he kind of tasked me or wanted me to bring up is like, how many times does Dominic Toretto say family in this movie? And I'm surprised. Unless I missed some, and I probably did, because, you get too wrapped up in these movies and you're not tracking, as precise as you should be. But I only heard him say family twice in this movie. That is not to say that all the rest of the cast members did not say family a lot in this movie. Family still gets dropped a lot in this movie. I don't know if Vin Diesel was like, guys, they're making fun of me because I'm saying family so many times. How about I'm going to write you guys or have the writers say that you guys say family all the time. Like literally his mom in the movie says family or mi familia within like minutes of the movie starting. Another point I'm going to bring up is like, and I'll talk about the ensemble cast in a minute, but there are two big cameos in this movie. I don't really, for diehard fans of this movie, this franchise, I don't think they're going to be very much of a surprise. One of them I think we were expecting to happen sooner rather than later, but it didn't, and they do make their cameo appearance in this movie, so it was good to see. I'm not going to try to go into too many details because I don't want to spoil it. The second one, I was very surprised when I saw the person that it was that cameoed in this movie, and it even took me a minute to realize who it was. I thought they were going in another direction, and for the scene I was like, who is this? What are they doing? Oh, okay. Oh, you're in this movie. Oh, that is something indeed. So there are two big cameos in this movie. They got a reaction out of me and post in the comments trying without spoilers. what do you think, or did you expect these cameos to come back in to the main franchise? And like I said, going on, continuing about the cast and the ensemble, this ensemble is humongous. It is too big, in my opinion. I mentioned it earlier that when I was listing some of the cast members in this movie that we could have gone on and on and on about the cast and who is in this movie. And I'm not lying, guys. Unlike Guardians of the Galaxy 3, which I just did a review on, please go and check that out, that handled a big ensemble really well and did it really well for their movie. Fast and the Furious franchise, I think, has grown so big. The family has grown so much that they still bring them back even now. There are so many people that they brought back, and they only had like a couple of seconds on the screen. But it was like they had to write a way to figure out why this person would be in this movie XYZ, and I really think it hurts the storyline. And then I also think it hurts with the main ensemble, the main crew, where it seemed like a handful of them went on this secondary plot, and it got the pushed to the background or to the side, where half the time I wasn't even thinking about them until they popped on screen again. And then in that group itself, there's really only two major people, and the others got pushed in the background even more until their skill sets were needed. And I'm like, man, there are too many people in this movie, or there maybe not too many people in this movie, but the writers don't know how to write well enough to keep all these storylines relevant and pertinent and keep it in our forefront, are worried about what's going on with these people. So I think they really, really need to do is trim. If they're going to keep going with these movies, they need to trim down these cast members, not always have to have every single one in these movies. And speaking about trimming down cast members or not having them in every single movie, one of the biggest complaints I have about these movies is that there are no stakes in these movies. I mean, swear to God, these people are stabbed, shot, thrown through walls, car crash, bombs going off, tear gas, flashbangs. All this stuff happens to these people, and they get up and brush it off like nothing's going to happen. So when we have these big action scenes, we're like, great, this action scene is great. I love it. It's fun to watch, but I'm not worried that a character is going to die. And then if the character is going to die, they're probably going to be written back in somehow. I mean, there's been only one permadeath in this whole franchise, and that was in the first one, and it was Jesse. And so those stakes are not there. Like when they get into trouble, I'm like, they're going to figure some way out of it. And then wrapping up with this, I think the ending of this movie is definitely going to irk or anger a lot of people. I'm going to come out and say right now, it is a cliffhanger. They want you, so we're not, Fast 10 is not the end of the franchise. I think Vin Diesel has said that this is the beginning of a trilogy to end the franchise, so we have at least two more, unless he means there's three more. So hopefully there's only two more, so that way they can wrap it up the way they wanted to wrap up. But yeah, when this movie ended, because when I went in thinking that this movie was 2 hours and 21 minutes long, I was like, oh man, I still got like half an hour left. Okay. Oh, there's the credits. Okay. When's the next Fast and Furious movie coming out? Because I'd like to know what's going to happen. But yeah, so I think the way it ended is going to really irk some people, and you're going to see them complain about it. But there's only one post-credit scene. It's a mid-credit scene, so you don't have to stay all the way to the end unless you really, really want to. So, but yes, there's one post-credit scene in this movie. Overall, guys, Fast 10, to me, was an entertaining ride. It's what we've come to expect from this franchise. We have cars, we have fights, we have girls, we have guys, we have big action scenes, we have great chases, physics-defying stunts. Everything that we've come to expect in the Fast and Furious franchise is here. I think they're really trying to bring it back down a little bit, though. I'm not going to say it is. It is still a hot mess. It's not the cleanest movie. You're not going to come out of this movie going, oh my God, this thing was fantastic. But it's one of those summer popcorn movies where you go in, you're having a bad day, you shut off your brain. This is definitely not one of those movies where you're going to come out here raving and going, oh my God, you got to go see it. But I think it's like if someone asks you and goes, hey, I'm looking for a movie. And then you go, what are you looking for? I was like, I just want something that's action and where I don't have to think too much. That is Fast and Furious. That is Fast 10. And with that being said, Shep Talk gives Fast 10 3 Sheps out of 5. But that is all I got time for today, guys. Thank you for watching. If you haven't done so already, please remember to like, share, and subscribe. It does help my channel out greatly, and I do truly appreciate it. But guys, that is all I have time for today. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next review.